So, guys, here we are. MMA UK news. Myself, Stoomboy, as always, normally for the MMA UK BJJ show. But tonight we're talking MMA, so we're doing this for MMA UK news. So, talking about Evolution of Combat 11. Evolution of Combat 11 is going to be Saturday, the 19th of February. Now, it's going to be at the usual place, Maryhill Community Halls. I think the doors open around about 5 o'clock, which normally they do 4:30, 5 o'clock. They're very punctual as well, so make sure you're in the venue. And first fights will be the grappling fights, moving on to the Muay Thai, and then obviously rounding off with obviously the MMA fights and so on. So absolutely fantastic card so far. Obviously got some unbelievable grappling matches that are going to be on there. Muay Thai as well. Got some K1 fights, and then I'd say the MMA fights, which will round it off. So amateur and pro MMA fights are going to be on there. Now, tickets for the event are all sold out, guys. So stop messaging Dan Hope because he doesn't have any tickets left. Now, the only place you are going to be able to see it is going to be pay-per-view. Now, it's on the Evolution of Combat page. It takes you through to livemma.co.uk where you'll be able to book the event. Event is £9.99. So make sure you do get on Evolution of Combat page and get your pay-per-views for next Saturday night. Now, my next guest is going to be on the show that night. So Nathan Wyatt of Kaizen Academy. Nathan's going to be up against Ayrshire Hit Squad's Cameron Ferguson. Nathan, as we're going to hear, had an absolutely fantastic debut match at Evolution of Combat 10. Anybody that didn't see the fight, jump on YouTube. YouTube, it's on there. Just Google, YouTube Nathan Wyatt, and you'll be able to see that fight. I'd say some fantastic movement, takedowns, submission attempts. Everything was in the fight. So definitely get on and watch that. So Nathan, listen, absolute pleasure, buddy. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. So how's everything going here, training wise?
Yeah, this camp's been significantly better than the last. I feel like my cardio especially has been, maybe that's with the lower weight class, but I feel like so much fitter in like every part of it. So it's gone. I can't really say it couldn't have gone better, really.
Yeah. And we mentioned obviously about Evolution of Combat 10. I know they obviously had your debut there. So it was quite funny because we were laughing before. Topology had written you off completely. I think Topology has anybody that's never been on Topology, they always, before fights, they have a who you think's going to win. And I think it was like 83% against 17% against Nathan. And obviously went out there, and when you watch the fight, I mean, Nathan pretty much dominated the fight from start to finish, which leads you to believe, what are the guys thinking about on Topology? These are supposed to be experts, MMA experts, Nathan. So we're just waiting. We've got a lot of bit of technical issues. So there we go. I think we've got you back, Nathan. Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, listen, I can hear you, buddy. Not a problem at all. So you hear me okay, Nathan? So sometimes we have technical difficulties. But yeah, so as I said, Nathan was on Evolution of Combat 10. As a debut fight, I was up against, now my pronunciation is horrible, but Tiago of Reykjavik MMA. So it was an awesome fight. I mean, from obviously start to finish. Anybody that watches if you go on YouTube, as I said, Nathan Wyatt, then you'll be able to see Nathan's movement and stuff like that was awesome. Absolutely brilliant to watch. His hands were down because obviously the way he moves, you can see that it doesn't suit. If you were to come in hands up, the way he moves wouldn't suit the style that he's got. So obviously got a takedown where he shot in for a takedown, which then obviously led to a little bit of a scramble on the ground, led to Nathan getting locking on a triangle choke, getting an armbar, rolling over, going belly down, and the opponent, Tiago, got out of it. And that was it. End of round one. Second round was pretty similar. Obviously, again, starting again from standing. Nathan shot in again, managed to get on top, almost got pulled off a submission again, but obviously rolled over the back of Thiago. And again, pretty much won the second round as well. And then in come the third round. And again, it was a bit of a back and forth. But obviously Nathan took the unanimous decision. So it was a good fight, good debut fight for him. So I think we've got him back. Here we go. Here he is.
Yeah, my internet just had a mare then. So I had not to work. So.
No, that's right. What I was doing was just explaining to the guys about obviously the fight that you had. So we were explaining obviously the first round, obviously almost getting the submission, going into the second round, which was pretty similar to the first round, and then obviously the third round, finishing off with you coming away unanimous decision victory.
Yeah, I was disappointed in that first round because that triangle was so tight. But then, and it's annoying as well because recently in jiu-jitsu we've been doing like how to finish a triangle, like the best like details, like Michael Wood's speciality, kind of secret ninja stuff. And it's like if I knew that then I would have won then. Like I wouldn't know how to go to decision, waste all that energy. But yeah, I suppose that's why you just keep turning up. Eventually, you'll learn these gaps and just get better. So.
It is. I mean, it's a learning thing. I mean, especially amateurs, the amateur MMA. I mean, that's where you kind of learn. So obviously, when you eventually do turn pro, you've had all the amateur fights and so on. You've maybe got rid of some of the bad stuff, kept some of the good stuff, and by the time you turn pro, you're ready to basically kick ass, Nathan.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then obviously recently had a run out as well. Empire Grappling, double gold there, gi and no gi. How was that for you?
It's weird because I was going there because I did it in just before my first fight as well, but I only did no gi, and I got silver in that. I feel like I should have got gold really, but there's like obviously mistakes there. Same story as my fight really. It's like if I knew one thing, I would have kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to get gold in no gi, and the only reason I took my gi is because I just wanted to get some more like intense rolls basically in it, just to more experience. I didn't really expect to win, but then I won that, and it was kind of surprising that I managed to win both of them because I thought I was confident I was going to win no gi, but then to win the gi as well, I was chuffed because my whole game is like all that gi grip stuff's just not even in my brain. Like I can't do it. So it was nice to win that.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question: gi or no gi? But obviously, you answered that you're a no gi guy.
Oh yeah, no, I can't be doing it when you're there rolling and the guy just rolls into his back and starts pulling you in. It's like, oh, not again.
And then one thing I noticed as well, I mean, obviously looking at your social media, your Facebook, I mean, you were leading up to before you started martial arts. You were big into like FIFA and stuff like that, and computer games, Call of Duty.
All right, yeah.
Everything on your Facebook was FIFA this and FIFA that, and then suddenly you took up martial arts, and then there was no more FIFA.
Oh, I don't. There's still plenty of like of that. It's just I just don't really. I suppose my entire personality is just MMA now, you could say, rather than playing FIFA and stuff like that.
Yeah. So. We always notice it. We always notice that anybody's social media you look at, you could always tell when they started, whether it be jiu-jitsu or martial arts or something like that, because everything you did in their life before it is over. And now everything they're posting is something to do with martial arts, jiu-jitsu, or whatever. And that's pretty much what happened with yours. I think you had like FIFA, Call of Duty, a few other games, but nothing since 2018. So absolutely.
Yeah, you can kind of see, but the cut off of when it was like I've started it, and then it's like just starting nothing else.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about Evolution of Combat 11 then? So obviously I know Dan Hope, obviously Kaizen Academy anyway. So how did you find out you were going to be on Evolution of Combat 11?
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to have another fight in December, but like the guy, I don't know who I was matched against, but I just know that he was he pulled out like And so then this was it was near Christmas, so I thought I'll just wait till thing. And then Dan was saying, "Oh, the next one's in February." I was like, "I'll just kind of get me on that."
Yeah, yeah,
That's basically, and obviously it's around like on every MMA session, so it's just that. And I got matched quite early as well. I've been matched since like early mid-December, so it's been like it's not really a last minute, which is nice. It's like knowing I have an opponent for like a decent amount of time.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's how I got into the show.
Definitely. And Evolution of Combat, this will be your, obviously you were in Morecambe, so this will be you, Glasgow, coming into Maryhill Community Hall. So have you ever been at Maryhill Community Halls
No,
before? Or have
no.
you seen, I think you've seen videos and things like that of
I've
the
seen
hall.
I've seen videos. Yeah, I've seen the videos of what it looks like from a certain angle, but I don't really know what it actually looks like properly.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. It's like an old hall. It's
Yeah,
quite big. Obviously high ceilings, so obviously when there's noise in the place, it just echoes throughout the whole
yeah.
place. And with it being, you've got kind of like tiered seats, which kind of obviously the cage is in the middle, and everybody seems to be on top of the cage, which is awesome
Yeah.
especially for you guys walking into the cage, because you'll come in and you walk down the stairs through the crowd and into the actual cage, which
Oh, I see.
again is awesome, and it's a brilliant atmosphere. As I say,
Yeah,
I go to quite a few, obviously MMA events and jiu-jitsu events and stuff like that, and always a fantastic atmosphere, and it's
yeah,
loud as well. It's very, very loud. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
New place to fight in.
yeah. And the Glasgow crowd's very
Yeah,
knowledgeable, very, very knowledgeable when it comes to MMA.
yeah,
So they all know what's happening. So which
yeah.
is
It's different to Morka when it's just 50% people that haven't got a clue what's going on, just screaming their head off.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
a different vibe.
They do love it. I'd say they definitely do love it here in Glasgow. So, and then what about you then? So obviously, 2022 is going to be our first official full year back
Yeah,
since
yeah.
2019. So we're going to have a lot of competitions and MMA events and stuff like that popping up. So what do you see yourself doing going forward after
Well, this year
BOC?
I want to have like at least 4 fights.
Yeah,
Just I want to start racking up the fights because I feel like that's the most important thing.
yeah,
Like obviously I want to win them all, but like regardless of the result, it's just about getting time in there because I feel like a lot of people in amateur that turn pro they don't have enough amateur fights, and
yeah,
then you can see it in the pro record where they lose the first two because they're not used to thing. I want to have a lot, so when eventually when I do,
yeah,
it's like barely nothing's changed because I've had that much time in there. So
yeah,
I want to at least 4 this year and just keep that going every year.
definitely.
Yeah.
What about BJJ? You going to do a few comps as well?
Yeah. Next time, I reckon another 2 this year, maybe
Yeah,
1. It just depends. It depends on how it lines up. But I want to enter a blue belt next time because I feel like my 2 comps so far have been at novice, and obviously I've won at novice. So the next step up is just to go to a
yeah,
blue belt, so I can test myself at a better level, really, in the jiu-jitsu.
definitely. Definitely. Then we do have a question come in. So, other than obviously your matchup on the night, is there any matchups in particular that you're looking forward to witnessing on next
Um,
Saturday?
See, obviously the Kaizen lads, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Louis from Kaizen fight in kickboxing because usually it's like his MMA fights are quite grappling heavy,
Yeah, yeah,
which is very good. So I'm not knocking him for it because it works. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing his striking because I've been drilling a lot with him recently and stuff, and sparring nice flow rounds with him, and he's like his striking the past few months has come on so much. So I'm interested to see his like pure stand up game.
yeah, yeah. Lewis is one of them ones. Obviously, we've seen Lewis a few times, and
Yeah,
he's always in tough fights. He's always in tough fights, and do you know what I mean? I know that he's one win, one victory, 2 losses, but even
yeah,
these losses, do you know what I mean? He still put on a good performance. He still did okay.
yeah,
And then I was laughing because his victory was the first time I'd seen him. I think it was Evolution of Combat 8. So I was there on the night and they won.
yeah.
So, but I wasn't there any other time that he fought. So I was laughing. So I must be his lucky charm. So hopefully he gets the victory next Saturday. So, and I
Yeah,
know that we did the interview with him, and then we did another interview for Evolution of Combat. I think it was 9 or 10. But Lewis, an awesome kid, man, awesome kid.
Yeah,
So
it's fucking, he's such a good lad. He's great because we bounce like ideas off each other and like certain techniques of like what would work, what wouldn't. And obviously he trains all around at the moment, so he gives me a lot of like nuggets that he gets from like the other coaches that he sees that I don't get any contact with because obviously I just train at Kaizen at the moment. So it's good to it's very very useful to
yeah.
get stuff from.
Because I know he's at Kaizen. I think he still goes to Aspire.
Yeah,
Obviously trains over there. And I remember when I was talking to him after the Evolution of Combat 8, after he won, and he was saying how he'd given up his job and things like that, and he was
yeah,
now doing it full time, man. You're like, you got to love that. You absolutely have to
yeah,
love that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So. But yeah, listen, looking forward to seeing him next Saturday as well. So I'm going to be speaking to him, I think, on Tuesday. So we'll get a good laugh on Tuesday as well. So and then Nathan, what about you then? So obviously you've been in the game for a few years.
yeah.
So anybody you want to shout out to? So any kind of friends, family members,
Um,
teammates, anything like that?
I'd say specifically for this camp, I mean, I always do a lot of work with Adam Gregory. Who had a fight in the last EOC. He's like, I'd say he's probably one of my main coaches because he gives me a lot of like wrestling tips and stuff like that, and like MMA positional like tips. Because
Yeah.
obviously you see his fights, he's just a swarm of
Solid
people.
ground game, man.
Yeah,
Solid ground game on Adam as
yeah,
well.
just absolutely like it's like every time I roll with him, I just hate my life to be honest because just squishing my face into the mat and I'm just like you know just
Yeah.
waiting for the round to be over. But
Yeah.
Adam, Kieran O'Brien as well, who's like I get a lot of my stand up from like his because he's very like weird like me, and every time we spar, it's like a mind fuck of just we don't know what either one of us is doing, but we're just dancing around basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, Michael Wood. I'm just listening to basically coaches, but Michael Wood's jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah.
And then I'd done recently as well. I had a few good rounds with Kieran Quayle, who did train out of Kaizen, but he's kind of like moved away, but I've still got a few rounds in with him. He's just really good at pushing me, keeping that in because I need like the intense rounds because he just keeps coming forward. So him, honestly, I mean, I mentioned Louis. I'd say my parents because this camp obviously I had to diet a bit more, so I've
Yeah.
been in a mood a good amount of time. So I'd say a big thanks to them because otherwise, I think anyone else with less patience probably would have kicked me out because with the it's
How do
nothing
your
good.
parents? Yeah, I mean, how do your parents feel? Because I know that, like, say, especially mums. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, obviously, we've seen a few mums where they're there. Some mums get right into it and they're like, "Yeah, fucking kill
yeah,
them, do this, do that." But other mums can't even watch it. So, I
yeah.
mean,
My mum absolutely hates it.
yeah,
um, she didn't come. She's not coming to. She says she's not going to come to any of my fights, but that's understandable because obviously it's
yeah,
thing. But she fully supports me and all that, but she doesn't like want to see the prospect of me getting punched in the face. And then my
yeah,
dad is actually quite funny because the last fight he was there with his mates on like a table, like a six table, and then in between, I think after the second round, he came round to me and started shouting, saying "Fucking get him!" There." And then my coach thought it was just some random guy, so basically told him to fuck off. But I was sat there because in the second round, I was absolutely shattered. I was like,
yeah,
just everything was just, poof. And then I was just laughing my head off, like while being that tired. Then I was like, oh yeah, I've got a third round to go out to here. As my
yeah.
dad's going absolutely mental. So
Brilliant.
I think it's like, I don't think my dad likes it either, but he's a lot more like,
He
you know,
understands what's going on. He definitely
yeah,
understands.
yeah,
Nah, it's funny. As I say, we see it all the time. We've got mums there. One of the boys I know, Yusuf Kurt, his mum comes, but whenever he's fighting, she turns her back. She doesn't even watch it. And I'm thinking, I mean, you've just paid 35 quid for a ticket to not
yeah,
watch the guy fight. So, whereas
yeah,
obviously some dads are, as you said, right up at the cage, like fucking kill him and do this and do that. So.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Uh, so it's brilliant
yeah,
to see. Brilliant to see.
yeah,
So yeah, big shout out to mum and dad. Obviously feeding you, make sure you're eating well and things like that. So that's awesome.
yeah, 100%, 100%, yeah,
Nice, nice. So there we go, guys. We're going to have Nathan Nathan's going to be on obviously the MMA. Obviously the fight card's still to be announced, or the full kind of fight order. Okay, but that's usually announced, probably announced at some point this week coming. So we'll obviously see when Nathan's going to be on. So Nathan, Kaizen Academy, going to be up against Cameron Ferguson of Ayrshire Hit Squad. Both coming in 1-0. So both coming in off recent victories. So again, it's going to be an interesting one to see. As they jump on YouTube, have a look at Nathan, as he very, very unorthodox, moves about a lot, and yeah, very, very exciting. So we're excited to see you next Saturday again, Nathan.
Cheers. Awesome.
But I'll be there on the night. So I do like post-fight interviews. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can obviously get a chat with you before and after the fight as well, buddy. All right. Nice one. Well, listen, thank you again, Nathan. Enjoy the rest of your training, and I'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.